There's general agreement throughout Europe that as many young people as possible should enter upper secondary or vocational education programs. We need their labour and knowledge if we're to do well in the future. Almost all of the young people in the Öresund region enroll in an upper secondary or vocational education program, but some 20% eventually drop out, and everyone agrees that that's just too many. At the Preventing Dropout Interreg program, we try to find answers to the problem. One of the things we've looked into is the role of counselling and the counsellor. Up to now, the idea has been that counselling is one of the most important pills that need to be developed in order to cure the dropout problem. In the Counselling Research Establishment, a group of counsellors and 2 researchers have studied whether the traditional counselling pill has been the right medicine in the world that young people live in. We suspect that the pill just doesn't contain the ingredients that young people need, or perhaps it's not the young people who need treatment. We've tried to find the answers to these difficult questions by asking young people themselves something that they've appreciated. One of the problems they mention is precisely that people don't often listen to them. Instead, they feel they're confronted with systems instead of people. One young person compared counselling with an assembly line, with bureaucratic and boring counsellors. Not least, young people live in a complex world that's difficult to navigate. They feel left alone with their challenges and say they have difficulty in merging their youth and school life. So how can the counselling of the future solve these problems? First of all, it's important that the counsellor is the warm and human face of the system. Someone who, just once in a while, asks, "Are you okay?" Young people say that a good counsellor who doesn't just give advice as a job to earn money can have an enormous effect on their lives. But the counsellor of the future must not just be a warm adult full of empathy. Counsellors are important because they're the link between students, teachers, and school heads. Counsellors can ask all the right questions and listen to how young people experience the school and what are difficult educational choices. Young people really want to be included in organising their school. And when counsellors listen to young people, they can also hear how to change the things that make it difficult for young people to make their lives work. Modern youth lives in a world that is complex and changes much faster than we've been used to. Prioritising and navigating the many choices and demands that they meet are real challenges. So how can the counsellors of the future make young people feel less alone in facing the challenges of schools and their lives? A system of providing information and holding individual meetings, such as many counsellors do nowadays, is not enough. Young people can find the information on the internet, but they have no idea how many young people are in the same situations as themselves, that they too have difficulty in seeing the big picture and creating coherence out of a turbulent young life full of demands and requirements. The counsellor of the future will have to help them, for example by bringing young people together in groups in which they can develop and forge relationships with other young people and talk about their difficulties and find solutions together. So the message for the counsellors of the future is that counsellors are the human face of the system. Counsellors listen to young people and suggest ideas for organisational changes that address the needs of young people. And counsellors are social architects who study how young people can exchange experiences and forge relationships with each other. So what's needed to realise counselling of the future? Counsellors must have the time and competencies to offer young people the right counselling activities. And the school authorities of the future must give counsellors the ability to make changes.